Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. With the help of a friend, I've been able to get some home movies digitised that my dad took many years ago when I was going through high school and my brothers going through primary school, and then beyond that when we started to become young adults. And my dad had this trusty, I've reviewed this camera before. Listen to that. That's a Yashica. So my dad, this is a clockwork camera. You wind it up like that. No batteries, no light meter. Don't think it's got a light meter. You've got some adjustments. You've got 3 lenses that go on this, and they rotate with a turret. But anyway, that's another story. But my dad managed to, he used to go to all our cricket and football matches, and he used to do movies, home movies, on standard 8mm, though that camera is called. And so we've got a real collection of home movies, apart from just our school sports and the sports after when we became young adults. We've also got heaps of movies in our family, both that my dad took and I took and my brothers took later on, that do need to be digitised. So I'm hoping to gradually do that. I had some help digitising this particular movie I'm going to show today with a friend, as I say, who's also got his own YouTube channel. I might mention his name underneath afterwards if he lets me. And this is in 1963, which was the last year that I was in Henley High School as a student. It was a great school, and it still is. Got a huge reputation for all sorts of things. Lots of famous people have come through Henley High School. But in 1963, the last year that I was there, and my friends, the year before, the school started a series of interstate clashes between a Victorian high school and Henley High School. The other team was called Blackburn High School, and they still exist. And so in 1962, our intrepid football team and a few other of our teams hopped on the overland train across to Victoria to play the Vics. And their school system had a different age bracketing to what we had in South Australia. So we were actually a little bit younger than the guys we were playing against. And in fact, the guy that I was billeted with, he was actually about 6'6", and he was on the Melbourne training list to play footy in the VFL. So, and another guy there was involved in Hawthorn, I think, and he came over the year afterwards. He was in the Hawthorn seconds. And he was their head prefect and captain. So anyway, we had the game over there in Victoria in 1962. We got thoroughly thrashed because they were a bit older and stronger than us, even though we were enthusiastic. But we lost by about 23 goals, I think. We only kicked about a point or 2 points or something like that. I was playing centre-half back and I got lots of kicks, but I was kicking them down the other end, and they were coming back just as quick over my head and through the goals. So, but anyway, the following year, we were all a little bit older and we were very keen. And the Blackburn boys came across to Henley High School and we played them, and they ended up beating us only by 9 points, and we had our chance to win it. But it was a great game. Well, my dad filmed that day, and what you're going to see now is the film that has survived of that match. It was illustrious that we had the famous Ken Cunningham was our umpire, who became one of the top South Australian League umpires, SANFL umpires, and he was a very good cricketer for South Australia as well, and been involved in the media ever since. So Ken was the umpire. My good friend Ian Edgley was the captain, and Geoff Barnes was playing in that game. He ended up being a state cricketer for South Australia, and we had some really good players, and it was a great time and a great game. So you're going to see that. What else can I say? I think the only claim to fame I had was that I got in the best players, and I was standing Don Stott, I think. If you're watching this, Don, you can correct me and tell me if I'm wrong that you played in this game. He was playing for Blackburn High School, and so I was standing him, and he kicked 2 goals for the match. We won. We lost by 9 points. I got named our best player, but I guess it didn't make much difference if he kicked 2 goals and we lost by 9 points. So there you go. there is a whole report of this match in this 1963 Henley High School magazine. On the back there, this was the last day we were there at school. All my friends autographed it and all that sort of thing. So it was wonderful days. You have many friends that you remember from. So I'm thinking I might scan this and make it available to anyone who watches that went to Henley High back in those days. There's a wealth of information. John Gray, who was in this football match that you're going to see, John is a bit of a historian, and he was back then as well. So he compiled over the years he was at the high school, he compiled all the stats of all the sporting teams and wrote articles and all that sort of stuff. So he's done a really good job. He's still involved as a retired person in doing historical work for the local council. So there you go. Thanks to John. A marvellous job, and he's still at it. So I could probably put some information, stats from the game underneath afterwards, below the picture. For the record, the first quarter Blackburn were leading 1-3 to us 1-0, so 9 points to 6 points. Second quarter they were leading 3-5, 23 to 1-2-8. The third quarter we came back at them a bit, and they were leading 5-5, 35 to 4-8, 32. And then in the final quarter, their final score was 8-8, 56 points, and our score was 6-11, 47 points. It was a very wet, rainy day, so it was pretty hard to kick straight and kick goals, but we gave them a run for our money. And so all the details are in here of that match. And our coach was Geoff Fuller, who was a fantastic school teacher and football coach. He had played league football for North Adelaide, and he also played football for South Australia as a league footballer. And I think he played centre-half back. I'm not sure, maybe centre-half or one of those anyway. But he was a great coach. So there you go. Keep on watching. The pictures could be a lot better. Might be able to improve on it later on. But this is the first offering. I'm going to probably share some of this with the Henley High School itself. So keep on watching and let me know what you think. I would like to put a soundtrack to it of crowds cheering and all that sort of stuff, but I'm not quite sure that I know how to do that. But anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know your comments underneath, and just keep on watching now. And I apologise that this is old film. You know, this is not the good old days, the days now when we have everything so digitally perfect. This was pretty raw technology that we had back then. So thanks for watching. Keep on watching. This is the crowd gathering for the big game between Henley High and Blackburn High in 1963. Note the old school uniforms and all that sort of thing. This is the team running out. Ian Edgley leading the team out. Steve Nikoloff, I think. I'm having trouble picking up all the people's names quick enough. It's Leon Hastwell just coming in now, and that's me following Leon, I think, and Johnny Gray there, Laz Christou, and John Pascoe, I think, and Ian Cleveland. That's the Blackburn boys running out onto the oval, and team photo. I noticed that we were having a team photo too, so I must chase up. There's Mr. Edgley there on the right there with a cigarette, and I must chase up to see whether someone's got a copy of the photo that was being taken there. Now, I was number 17, and you'll see me a bit because my dad was always photographing me and hardly anyone else. I'll try and comment on some of the guys as we go through. It was a very wet day, and that's Leon Hastwell having a shot for goal, I think, down towards the Henley Beach Road end. You can see how slushy it was. I think that was Brian Edwards, number 19. I'm not sure, that was Ian Edge missing the ball then, I think. Ken Cunningham throwing the ball up. Laz Christou going for the ruck. This is John Pascoe, I reckon, kicking from a long way out. Leon Hastwell. Laz tackling someone to the ground. Not sure who that was that kicked that one. Johnny Pascoe, I think. Number 4, I think it was him. Geoff Fuller just went for that spoil. That's John Gray having a shot. This is Ian Edgley having a shot. This is in the change rooms at half time. The guy in the foreground with the glasses, you'll see, is Tony Chapman in a minute. And there's a few of us in there. I'm not sure who that is with the shirt off. Back the start of the third quarter. Myself having another kick. Probably off the side of the boot, that one. This is Ian Edgley having a shot, but he gets pulled off the ball. He's number 1. And it went through the points, I think. Tony Crins, he was being billeted with me, I think, Tony. That's Ian Edge turning onto his left foot. Kick on the left foot, and I think it's marked by someone too. There you go. Johnny Gray having a shot. I think this one was a goal, but Dad didn't get the actual shot. Johnny Pascoe, he's in a few of these shots. Maybe because he didn't have sleeves on his shirt, my dad was getting confused with him and me. But Geoff Fuller going up for a mark. There's Christou getting hit with a ton of bricks, and over he goes. Ian Edgley running along there. Someone's just kicked a goal. I think number 14 was Malcolm Stott there, I think, or maybe Bruce Simmons, I'm not sure. Number 19 was Brian Edwards. That was the score towards the third quarter, I think. This is 3/4 time. That's me on the left-hand side rubbing my leg. Laz Christou next to me. Geoff Fuller, our coach. Vic Robinson, Edge's mate over there. Steve Nikoloff, and that was Leon Hastwell. That's John Gray and the Edge. That's Tony Chapman. Edge in the background. That was me taking a mark, I think. I was standing Don Scott that day, I believe. That's Laz Christou. He played a pretty good game. That's Edge taking a mark. Spilled it. Handballs it off. Someone gets it on. Could have been Trevor Brand. I'm not sure who was playing. Who that was. That was me doing nothing. It was a pretty close fought game. And we were in it right till the end, I think. Geoff Fuller running towards the ball and takes a bit of a tumble there, I think. Steve Nikoloff. Edge taking another shot for goal. And he's hooked it again. Well, I've got some better vision of him on another film of Edge kicking goals with drop kicks, but you couldn't do drop kicks on this particular day. The crowd cheering on. I think that's getting close to the final score. That was Geoff Fuller, I think, going up for the ruck. That was myself going in there. That guy there paddling the ball along could have been Don Scott, could have been my opponent, I think. He kicked 2 goals for the day. I think that's the final score. So thanks for watching.